All right, traders, within this video, I'm going to be going over the top option plays heading into the rest of the week. We got some great new setups, some great new opportunities lined up. I'm going to be preparing you to trade the best setups at the best prices. Make sure you stay to the end of this video so you are fully prepared. In terms of the portfolio, it was up 10% today at the peak. One of my swing trades started to go against me, bringing it down to 4.77% on the day. I had two nice day trades in the morning, playing JWAN and Roblox put options for a quick 30% on Roblox and a quick 7% on JWN. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. So first things first, we're going to be discussing the SPY, we're going to be discussing my swing trade, and we're going to be discussing the new setups that I have lined up for the rest of this week and talking about some upcoming earnings plays as well. So let's get into the SPY. So in terms of the SPY, you can visually see in terms of extended hours, we are having a little move here up to the upside. And with that being said, I want you to focus on the overall 5-day chart. I want you to focus mainly on the 5-day chart for the SPY. So here's the deal. We have this gap that was waiting to fill below at 389.63. As you can see, the SPY started to turn that gap fill level into support right around here with this bullish pin, and it started to have a reversal to pop back up to fill this gap at $396.92. As you can see, we have some very strong multi-day resistance on the SPY. You can see you got some strong resistance right here at 397, strong resistance right here at 397, strong resistance right here in the low 397s. And it's been selling off, selling off, selling off from this key level. So here's the deal. Heading into tomorrow, the game plan is going to be very, very simple. One thing I do want to point out, though, in terms of the 5-day chart is it's trying to form higher support. You could see it bottomed at 380. There was a gap to fill below right here. It filled the gap, went a little bit lower, had a reversal, came back up towards resistance. So it is attempting to form some higher support, but you can see right here it attempted to form some higher support in the 380s. Then it came crashing back down from the morning highs towards that retest of major resistance. So here's what can potentially happen, and here's what I want you to focus on heading into tomorrow in terms of, day trading the SPY. We got major resistance, right? Major resistance right here at $397. Now, we have a gap to fill above at 360.92. If you see the SPY showing signs of weakness, it's pulling back, it's forming bearish candlesticks, it's forming bearish confirmations, it's struggling to hold, it's struggling to break out, it looks like it's faking out at 396.92. I want you to play the put options and write it back down in terms of how low can we really go for like an intraday trade. Write it back down to about 394 to 393. Look to lock in profits in between that zone, 394 to 393, right around that zone. So the game plan is, say it breaks above 396.92, the bulls are going to try to take control. They're going to try to run it into the low 400s, right? I'll mainly be on the sidelines because I don't want to bet against the macro trend. The macro trend is bearish even when I'm micro trading mainly, unless it's like such a good key opportunity. But in this case scenario, what I'll be doing is I'm going to set my price alert, right? So I'm going to set my price alert right here for the gap to fill above. And as you can see, the price alert is set. Once the price alert triggers, if it starts breaking out, I set another price alert at or below $397. Once it reacts, once it breaks down, once it struggles at 396.92 and starts forming resistance, I buy the at the money puts with the closest expiration, ride it back down to about 394, 393. The way I mainly trade options is I stay at the money, and when day trading, I typically go with the closest expiration, right? And an at the money option contract is the closest strike price to the stock price in real time. So that's my thoughts on the SPY. I'm looking for a gap close reversal opportunity to ride it back down to the low 390s. Now, if we break out and turn 397 into support, how high is the SPY going to be on track to go? It's going to be on track in terms of tomorrow to hit about $400. If it continues to rise into the week, we're looking at a gap fill to 408.32. Like I said, I'm mainly waiting for a put option opportunity. So it just needs to show signs of weakness and struggle towards that resistance levels. If we can't get the bearish reaction at 396.92, we wait for that bearish reaction to happen. And then if not, if it doesn't happen, then we just wait for 408.32. That's the next gap fill level, 408.32. Wait for that to form resistance. Those are the key levels to be playing SPY put options into this week. Now you know what to look for, and now you know what to expect. So HRB. We're going to be going over HRB towards the end of this video. This is my swing trade we're going to be discussing. I'm also going to be recapping my trades towards the end of this video, but let's get into the new upcoming plays. So Tesla is struggling to go back to that previous $700 support. It is still selling off, cracking the lows from Friday. With that being said, my new level of interest has lowered. It's now $674.90 since we had a gap down, right? And it's also yesterday's highs. So if we can get a pop back to $674.90 sometime this week or next week, whenever it's going to happen, and it reacts as a resistance, I will look to play puts. As you can see right here, the low of this is $680. As you can see, the high of this is $680. As you can see, there's a gap to fill above at $674.90. So if Tesla reacts as a resistance at this level, it is going to be on track for a nice micro pullback to about $638. Look to play the put options. Once it struggles, once it reacts as a resistance level 674.90, that's the best micro level for the put options. In terms of the call options, the 52-week lows, the lows right here are at 571.22, and we have a gap to fill below at 572.84. Right? So Tesla likes to have gap close reversals. It's proven throughout its chart history at key support oversold levels and key overbought resistance levels. It likes to have gap close reversals. So the lower gaps and the higher gaps. With that being said, once we can form support and bounce off of 572.84, I will be interested in buying Tesla call options for a scalp and then ride it back up into the $600 range. So that's the game plan. I gave you the best price to buy for the micro and the best price to short for the micro calls and puts, right? That's what we're looking for in terms of the Tesla stock opportunities. Roblox. I played Roblox puts towards market open. It worked out phenomenal. This got absolutely crushed, man. Look at this, from $29 all the way down to $26.43. I made 32% on those put options. Literally sold them close to the lows, not exactly at the lows, but I got a good exit on those. And anyways, there was a gap to fill below right here. We filled the gap. And once we filled the gap, I noticed it reacted as a resistance. It cracked, right? So this 28.58 level, this is what I want you to understand about Roblox. And this is why I played puts as well. It was such a key support level with nice upside. But since it cracked and reacted as resistance, if you look at the daily right here, look what happened. 28.37 all the way to a close of 23.97. And then right here, the low was 22.61, the high was 31. So the point is, if it cracks this previous closing price and fails to have a gap close reversal and reacts as a resistance level, it's going to get demolished because there's not much support left. These are just big candles, right? Not much support left in terms of that overall channel. So I'm looking for more downside on Roblox. I am extremely bearish on Roblox, and I'm looking for opportunities to buy puts again. So here's the deal, and here's my levels of interest. The new best level is $30.06. The gap to fill above at $30.06. Nice key whole round number. That's your previous support from that crack, right? You can also say that 28.58 is your previous support, but the best previous support would be this gap fill level at $30.06, right? We did trigger dark blue on the squeeze, and we do have the red day, which is a very bearish confirmation. We could be setting up for something like this, where we could just continue to drop for a nice another day there. So Roblox is looking very, very bearish. I gave you the best level to play it at. Right now it is up during after hours trading session. So my two levels of interest heading into tomorrow are going to be $28. And so the gap was at, let's see. Give me one moment here. So the gap was at $28.58. $28.58 and $30.06. Those are my two levels of interest for buying puts. If we struggle and react as a resistance at one of those levels, I'll look to play puts, try to make about $1.50 profit per share, buy the put options. That'll probably be like a 40% return. So anyways, that's what my plan is to do on Roblox. Very, very simple. I can see this within time dropping to about $24.50. Very bearish on this overall. Our next setup, Facebook. In terms of Facebook, we're waiting for the gap to fill below for a potential little micro reversal trade. At 174.95, I'm waiting for that. I'm going to set my alert right there. So that's something that I'm waiting for. Make sure you're setting your price alerts. Make sure your trades are coming from your watch list. They're coming from your price alerts. Make sure you're trading the best setups at the best prices, especially with these option contracts. JPM is getting a little bit interesting. We just filled a gap. There was a gap to fill right here at 127.10. As you could see, there was recently a gap to fill at 126.77. It sold off hard into the 119s, ripped back up. Once it filled the gap, the next day it gapped down, which triggered a massive sell-off. With that being said, if we can get a red day tomorrow, I will look to play the puts because it's a proven gap close reversal level of history potentially repeating itself. The gap is at 127.10. It got to a high of 127.49 and it started to pull back, closing lower than the gap fill level. So the deal is, and the plan is for JP Morgan, as you can see, it's now back up to 127.50 though in after hours. If we can break down below 127, form resistance, I'll buy the puts. If not, I'm staying away from it. If it goes above 127.50, it's going to start to run, right? So we need to see 127 breakdown for puts. If we can get the breakdown, I'll look to play for puts. So I'm going to set a price alert. We'll do at or below 127.30. There we go. So if we can get below that, form some resistance, look bearish, I'll look to play puts with a max risk of like 127.50. Not risking a lot on these. When I'm trading at the best prices, I do not risk a lot because if it can't work at the best price, it is most likely going to go, largely against me instead of having that big move in my favor. Instead of having that reversal in my favor. So Lucid. Lucid is looking bearish. Lucid is looking overall bearish. It kind of looks like Roblox. See how Lucid formed this channel. We got a dark blue triggered on Lucid with the first red day. It's looking overall bearish. I think within some time we're going to see a gap fill play to 1569 on Lucid. Remember how Roblox had that gap to fill at 2850s and it finally filled and went lower. I think Lucid's on track to do the same thing. I'm very short biased on this stock for the micro. So heading into tomorrow, right? What am I looking for? We have such strong support that is just destined to crack. And look at how bearish this double top is. And look at these lower highs coming in. This is the backside of the move, man. This is done. Lucid's going to fall off a cliff soon. So 17s, 17.10, $17. When we crack that, we're looking at a nice sell-off to about $16 to $15.69 to fill this gap. Lucid's on the backside. We are very bearish. I'm liking this key breakdown setup. It's like a delayed reaction compared to what just happened with Roblox. Look at the charts. You see the similarities. Very similar price action, backside of the move. Roblox finally snaps. It fills the gap below right here and it goes lower. Well, it looks like Lucid is about to do the same exact thing as Roblox. So once we can crack the 17s, form some resistance and break down, I'm looking to ride this back down to 16 to 15.69. That's where I'd like to lock in my gains, trying to make about $1 profit per share on the put options. That would most likely be around a 30% return for Lucid, a 30 to 40% return on Lucid puts. Like I said, at the money strikes, closest expirations, day trading opportunities. So that's an A1 number one setup. I really like that one. For those of you who stay in these videos, you really do get rewarded with some of the best opportunities. Snapchat is getting very interesting. We are so micro oversold for the short term. So with that being said, I like to study the history of how stocks react to what they're currently doing. So how does Snapchat typically react when it has a big gap down? Well, right here, it had a massive gap down and then it just soars back up. But that's just one reaction. You want to get a good feel of the history. It can go either way. But here's the deal with Snapchat. If you want to figure out where it's going to reverse, this is what you're going to want to do on this one. So here's the deal. We have a gap to fill at $12.44 right there. There's a gap to fill. If it cracks that, it's going to go to 12.10. If it cracks that, it's going to go to 2.11. If it cracks that, it's going to go to 9.50, which I believe is like the lowest gap fill potentially on Snapchat. It's not the lowest, but it's definitely down there, but it's not the lowest. So for those of you wondering if we're going to have a micro reversal or not, we need to bottom out at 12.44. That's what needs to happen. The bottom needs to be at 12.40s to 12.50s. If it cracks 12.40s, we are far from the bottom. If this cracks 12.40s, it's going to get slaughtered. It's just going to keep going down for the micro. So that's what you need to pay attention to if you're interested on Snapchat. That 12.50-ish level, it is trying to have a little gap close reversal, but it hasn't filled the gap yet. So just pay attention to that level. It's not going to be an easy trade, just something I'm keeping an eye on. And like I said, if it cracks through 12.44, it's just going to keep on going down. So if you see that crack 12.44, we're looking at a quick move to 12. Going to keep an eye on that one as well. Draftkings looks bearish, man. This looks very, very bearish. If you just study how it reacts, just Just look at this chart right here. See how it's starting to roll over on the backside. You got 3 bearish red candles coming in, and then you have that gap to fill below at 1248. Another gap to fill below at 1137. Recently hit new 52-week lows. If you just study how it reacts with this quick upside move, and then it just chops back down, sideways bearish downtrend, you could just see, man, this is like overall done. It looks like it's trying to fall off a cliff again. It looks like we're seeing very similar moves to like this in terms of like pullbacks. It looks like this is where we're kind of at in the chart in terms of pattern recognition. You have this strong move up, and then you see these red candles come in on the sideways, right? Kind of like a triangle, and then it just sells off, right? It looks like a very similar pattern in terms of right now. You have this strong move up, and then it looks kind of like a triangle is forming, and it looks like it's just going to keep on trying to go down to fill this gap below at 1248. So Draftkings puts are on the radar as well. EOG. In terms of EOG, I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I do believe there's a higher gap to fill. Let me just double check that here real quick. Let's go back. There might be a higher gap to fill from what I remember. I think there was. Okay, so there's not. So yeah, the highest gap to fill is right here at $128.35. $128.35. Oh, no, it's actually right here. Okay, here we go. This is what I was talking about. 132.22. When we get to 132.22, this is the best A1 setup. This is where I hit with size, right? We're looking at something like this. This is the highest gap at the time. See how it fills the gap, sells off. Highest gap at the time. See how it fills the gap, sells off. So what we're looking for is, and you could already see it's had nice partial gap close reversals, major resistance right here, big downside potential, gap to fill below at 122.05. So here's the deal. We wait for this gap to fill at 132.22. And then we just wait for it to react as resistance. Like I said, if it just goes above, starts breaking out, we set another price alert at or below 132.22. Once it triggers again, we wait for it to break down, wait for the bearish confirmations. Once you see bearish reactions come in at 132.22, play the puts and ride this back down into the 122 zone. We're looking at a 10-point potential pullback on that. That's an A1 number one setup. I saved the best one for last. EOG puts, man. We got a guy in the chat, Lee. He's been consistently trading Tesla, and he's been making a lot of trades on EOG as well, using these similar gap fill strategies, gap close reversal strategies. He's absolutely killing it, man. Big shout out to Lee. I already know he's going to be on top of this one. So EOG is one of the best setups I'm seeing, waiting for 132.22, right? So we got the setups lined up. We got the key price alerts trigger. Some are closer than others, so some might not trigger this week. It might take a couple weeks, could take longer. But the point is, these alerts should trigger over time. And when they trigger, it is going to put us in the best position to be trading at. We're going to be watching these levels. We're going to be trading these stocks at where nobody else is trading them because they're not putting in the work. They're not setting in the price alerts. They're not studying the best prices, the best strategies to be using. And they're not going to be trading at these key levels. They're just going to be trading the chart at whatever they're watching because they're just gambling. So we're trading the best setups at the best prices. We're waiting for these alerts to trigger. All we need is a couple great opportunities per week. And that's really going to be it, guys, in terms of right now. Every single day, there's new opportunities. There's new price alerts to be setting. That does not mean there's a trade every single day. But these price alerts compound over time and it's very lucrative opportunities. So EOG is the number one play for the put options. Now, let's discuss, last but not least, HRB. So this is getting very interesting. Very, very interesting here. So I've been comparing this stock to K, and I've been buying put options on this stock since last week and into this week. Whenever it had a spike, I would buy puts. And in terms of, well, where were you buying the puts? I was buying the puts in the 3350s. And 3 times within the past 5 trading days, it went to 3250, 3240, 3250. Those puts were up 20 to 30% each time. In terms of today, I finally decided to sell half of my position at 3250. I sold half for a 20 to 25% win. And then I added back up on the rip when it hit 3360. I added too soon. I told people within chat, if you want to add, wait till the end of the day. It's probably going to close strong. I added a little bit too soon. I was adding in the 125s. The contracts are now at $1. So with that being said, here's the deal. we're at a make it or break it level on HRB. If it doesn't work out here, then it's going to work out at this next level. So I'm going to walk you through in terms of where we can be at. And we're going to do an in-depth chart comparison on this, right? So I've been comparing this stock to K, and the comparison has been fairly accurate, and it's really helped guide me through this trade in terms of the micro price action and also potentially the macro. So we're going to do a quick side-by-side comparison on K stock to HRB stock, and I'm going to break down my game plan on, right or wrong, what I'm planning to do if I get stopped out, where I'm planning to re-enter on this particular trade. So as of now, the opportunities on this have been in the day trades. There was 3 opportunities within the past 5 trading days where you could have bought puts towards my entry and made a 20% return. That was 3 times. I finally took advantage of one of those profit-taking opportunities, and I sold half of my position for a 20 to 25% win. And then I added back up on the rip. So with that being said, this is what I want you to understand. This is K stock. This is HRB stock. See how K stock has this gap up right here, HRB has this gap up right here, and then HRB just keeps ripping up, K stock just keeps on ripping up. This is the 52-week high on K stock, and then in terms of HRB stock, this is the 52-week high as well. So this is what I want you to pay attention to. 52-week highs right here, 52-week highs right here. See how the charts are nearly identical, and then check this out. Day after the 52-week high, it has a red day. Day after the 52-week high, it has a red day. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th day, look at what happens. On the 5th day, hard sell-off, rips back up, closes strong in the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5th day, it did have a nice sell-off. It wasn't as hard as K, though. K cracked major support. The main difference with HRB is it didn't crack that major support. The major support was at 32.40 to 31.90, 32.40, 32.20, and 31.90. The main differences on the 5th day here from the 52-week highs is it did have the same move in terms of it had a nice pullback towards open. It really did. But and then it closed strong at the highs like it did right here. But it didn't crack that massive support, which isn't a good sign. So history is not repeating itself in the current situation, but it is in similar cycles. But here's what happened on the 6th day. This is where things get interesting. The massive move finally occurred on the 6th day from the 52-week highs. K stock got absolutely demolished. So here's what I want you to understand heading into tomorrow. Tomorrow, we can see a massive move on HRB stock. Now, if this gaps up, and we start trending up and we break above $35 tomorrow, this is most likely heading to $36.50 to $37 pretty quickly into the rest of the week if $35 turns into support. That's our make it or break it level. Another thing to note about K stock is it gapped down. K stock gapped down on the 6th day. So, if this gaps up, not the best sign. However, lately, every time it's been gapping up, it has had a green to red move before going back to red. So that's another thing to keep in mind in terms of HRB, right? And another thing I want you to be aware of is that $35 level. $35 level is make it or break it. What we need to see into tomorrow is for the bears to really take control. We need to see a fake out of 35, and we need to see a crack of the previous closing price, which is at 34.58. So that's what we need to see, man. So in terms of, let's say the bulls take control. If we break above 35, it's showing strong support. What's the next resistance level? What is the next resistance level going to be on HRB stock? So in terms of the next resistance, if we go back throughout the chart history and we take a look right here, let's see. Our next resistance level, if we go above 35, is going, and you could see solid resistance at 35, solid resistance at 35.14. The next resistance level is going to be 35.50. So in terms of risk, my max risk, and I'm making this very clearly, my max risk, this is my max risk zone on my put option position. $35.15 to $35.50, right? This zone is my max risk. So the lower risk is 35.15, the higher risk is 35.50. If this goes above 35.50, we will see a gap fill play to 36.89. which is the highest gap to fill above towards the all-time highs at 37.53. So if I get stopped out and this doesn't work out, what I'm going to do is I am going to be buying puts again at $36.89 once it reacts as a resistance level. Like I told you, I was buying puts at the second best level. The true best level was at 36.89. In terms of day trading opportunities, it did work out. It worked 3 times. You could have traded it 3 times for my entry, made 20%. I was aiming for the bigger move, and as of now, the bigger move is attempting to go against me. With that being said, 35.15 and 35.50 is my max risk zone. What the Bears need tomorrow is they need a crack under 35, or for the most part, they're basically screwed. If we can't get that breakdown below 35 by like 10:30 a.m., so like if we can't get under $35 before 10:30 a.m., I'm basically stopping out. I'm being very blunt, keeping it very simple about that. In terms of my loss on the trade, we're looking at right now, I'm down 28%. We're looking at about a loss of, I would say, 35 to 40% is what we're looking at, right? In terms of the win, if I were right in the situation, we'd be looking at 100% plus potential gainer if the big move was in my favor. So I'm playing for the long game. If it doesn't work out here, I'm playing it safe. I'm stopping out. I'm cutting my losses as quickly as I can. And then I'll look to re-enter at 36.89, right? In terms of this situation, it's really been rewarding the day traders. It really has. In terms of like people just holding, it hasn't been rewarding them unless they've been locking in profits and getting back towards their initial entries. That's who it's really been rewarding. It hasn't really been rewarding, people holding for the big moves. You could see day trade calls on the dip towards the 32s, ride it back up. Day trade calls on the dip towards the 32s, ride it back up. Day trade calls on the dip towards 32s, ride it back up. Day trade calls on the dip towards 32s, ride it back up. And then in terms of the put side, puts at resistance at 33.50, ride it back down. Puts at resistance 33.50, ride it back down. Puts at resistance 33.50, ride it back down. Puts at resistance 33.50. So in terms of right now, this stock has been extremely generous towards day traders, and our entries were good. We had really good entries on this, and I was up 20 to 30% multiple times. In terms of swing trading, it's been tough. It's been a fairly tough stock to be swing trading, but it does look like the big move we are anticipating is coming. It looks like it's most likely coming tomorrow. So like I said, if we can't get under $35 before 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, I'm just most likely going to get completely out of this, wait for 36.89, make it all back and more. That's my game plan. For the big move to be in our favor, we need a red day tomorrow. We need a strong crack under 34.58. If we don't get it, I'm bullish. I think we go to 37. I'm not really interested in chasing calls, but in terms of day trading, it's a very nice stock to be day trading for quick scalps. You gotta get the best entries though. Always make sure you're studying the prices of these option contracts. And when I say I'm getting out, that means I'm getting out of my July 15s and also my June 17s. I'm not holding my July 15s past a break above 35.50. If we can't get under 35 before 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, I'm not holding any puts. I'm going to wait, rebuy them at the best price. That's my game plan. I'm not looking to risk 80% to 90%. My max risk is towards 30 to 40%. That's what I'm comfortable of risking, and that's what makes sense for me, because if the big move works in my favor, we're looking at a 100 to 120% return, so the risk to reward was there. So that's my thoughts. That's my analysis. Don't be discouraged if this trade doesn't work out. We have plenty of great opportunities coming up. I'm telling you, it's EOG. We've got plenty of great setups coming up. Looking forward to it. So with that being said, in terms of my trades, let me just quickly show you here real quick. So at market open, I bought puts on JWN at $2.16. It was the May 27th 20.5 at the money strike. And then I also bought Roblox puts at 9:35 a.m. At $1.39. These went to like $1.90 or something. I sold Roblox for a 30% win just 7 minutes later, and I sold JWN for a 7% win just 8 minutes later. So why did I buy puts at open on both of these stocks? So in terms of Roblox, the reason why I bought puts on this today is our key support level was at 28.58. We had a gap to fill. Once I noticed that 28.58 had cracked and looked very, very bearish, I studied the daily chart, and the daily chart told me, if this 28.58 level cracks this strong support, we're looking at a big move to the downside. Why is that? Because look at this. Previous closing price 28.58, massive move up. Now check this out. The high of day right here is 28.37, and it closed at 24. Check this out. The high of day right here at 27.50 closed at 24.60. So it's telling me if this 28.50 level cracks, we're looking at big downside, not much support on the daily, right? That's why I played puts on the Roblox key breakdown. That was a key breakdown setup for the put options. It was a very nice lucrative return. As you can see right here at 9:35 a.m. I got in when this was at 27.50. It quickly sold off to 26.40. Within those 5 minutes, that's like a 30% return. It did go a little bit lower, but I literally sold this at the lows, man. Such a great sell on Roblox for once. And JWN, I had a pretty good sell on this one as well. So in terms of JWN, I didn't play the earnings. I haven't been playing earnings lately. I know I was interested in it, but I just haven't seen too many good opportunities for earnings as of lately. I didn't play BBY. I didn't play any earnings plays yet. I'm looking at Snow. That's one I'm a little interested in. But in terms of JWN, I was looking at the daily chart on JWN, and I was noticing there's a gap to fill at 1954 right here. And I was telling myself, if this cracks this heavy support with nice upside potential towards 2067 to 2036, I'll play it for a key breakdown, ride it back down a little bit for the gap to fill below. So I bought puts at 9:32 a.m., which was right here. And then I literally got out on the dip as soon as the doji formed. I got out, and it dropped about 60 cents from my entry, and I made a quick 7% return on that. So that was JWN. Those were both key breakdown plays, not the best strategy, not the best setups. The portfolio is currently up on the day. Like I said, at the peak, I was up, let's see. So at the peak, I was up 10%. Right now with HRB going against me, my portfolio was up 4.77% on the day. So on the day, I was up 9.44%, almost 10% at the peak. All three of those trades worked out, and I had very good analysis, very good commentary on HRB as well. I brought a lot of awareness to this situation. In terms of HRB, I clearly stated right here, where was it? So these are my sells. I sold 1/3 of my position at 10:52 a.m. right before it had the big rip up. And then once it started to go up a little bit more at 10:56 a.m., I sold 20% more of the position, leaving half on to ride. And then I told people within the chat, if you want to add on puts, just wait till the end of the day. I ended up adding earlier, not listening to my own advice. And I'm down a little bit on that situation right now. So like I said, I'm down like 28% on those right now, but I did lock in half profits for a 20% win. So that helped me out a lot. That's just like micro trading a macro trade. It can be tough to do, but if you're really good at micro price action in certain situations, it makes sense to stop aiming for the big win and to just get out and get back in. And in terms of this situation, it made sense for me to do that. And the reason why was I was looking at K stock, and like I said, on the 5th day, K stock had a big pullback, and then it shot up and closed strong green. So I was thinking that HRB can do the same thing if we see strong bullish confirmations towards the support levels of 32.20 and 32.50. And once I noticed that there was strong support coming in prior to having a massive quick sell-off going from green to red on the day, once I noticed that we had the Dragonfly Doji, we had the bullish pin, it started to break out, we had another Dragonfly Doji, all confirmations for me to play it safe and get it out. You could see the dojis work. It just rips up massively when it forms those Dragonfly Dojis at key support. It's a great trend reversal candlestick confirmation. So yeah, those were the trades for the day. With that being said, big shout out to members within Trader Society. We got some people really killing it. Keith made more than his monthly paycheck today, man. That's absolutely insane, man. Congratulations. Lee's quitting his job soon, man. He went from 5 figures to over 6 figures now every single week, man. He's crushing it. Lee made over 11.5K today, man. Absolutely crushing it. We now have the Tesla channel, so be on the lookout for that. Zach, absolutely crushing, man. The portfolio is up 160%. 8 trading days as a member of Trader Society, man. Very nicely done on the portfolio. So yeah, big shout out to you guys who are absolutely killing it. And with that being said, that's going to wrap up this lesson. So we got some great upcoming trades coming up. if you want to be a part of Traders Society, that's going to be that first link down below in the description. Once you join the program, you get instant access and you get lifetime access. In terms of some of the things that are included, you will get lifetime access to the live trading streams we do every single day at Market Open. Every single day at Market Open, you get to watch me trade live. You get to see my open positions. You get to trade the charts live with me, hear the commentary, see the charts, see the portfolio, the open and close positions. I'll answer your questions live on spot. You do also get access to the chat room, the community within the chat room, the networking opportunities, the real-time trade alerts, the stock analysis, the watch list, the price action analysis, where you can also ask questions and add members as a friend on Discord. You do also get access to the video lesson library, which is really going to help you in terms of becoming self-sufficient and learning how to trade these strategies on your own, right? The video lesson library and the live trading session at Market Open, along with the chat room commentary, is really going to help you in that sense to become self-sufficient. So yeah, there's a lot to it. The video lesson library includes all the education needed, including the price action trading strategies, including the unique gap trading strategies, psychology, mindset to trading, risk management, position sizing. There's a lot to it. There's a lot more included within Trader Society. If you want to check it out, it's the first link on the description. Read everything included on the page. If it sounds like it's a great fit for you, I would encourage you to sign up. With that being said, and I've been saying this if you've been watching my videos, soon enough, and the expected date is the end of June, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be raising the prices substantially to Trader Society. And we're going to make it most likely where the only way to get in Trader Society is by filling out an application and then getting on the phone with a representative who works for Trader Society. And they're basically going to be interviewing you and see if you're the right fit for this program, because we are looking for that quality over quantity approach. And we truly want to make sure that we're not wasting anybody's time and you're not wasting anybody's time. We want to make sure we get the right person in Trader Society, right? Because we're looking for a high success rate. So with that being said, there will be major changes for the better. There's going to be a huge increase in quality, and that is expected to occur by the end of June, where there's going to be a massive price increase. But if you get in now, like I said, you're grandfathered in for life, and it's a one-time fee. Like I said, it's going to start to be applications only, where you fill out an application, we interview you on the phone, and if we feel you're a good fit for the program, if we feel like you can have success in this program, then we will approve you. And then if you like, you can join, right? So with that being said, that is most likely going to occur by the end of June. That major change is going to occur. And once that change occurs, you're going to see a major difference in the quality of my trading, and the quality of students trading, and the quality of this channel, and the quality of everything. There's going to be a huge shift in difference, because we really know what's needed to take this to the next level. But if you do want to get in before that happens, now is the best time to join, right? So I'm just making sure, I'm just being very clear. I don't want that to be a big shock or surprise to anyone. If you're lucky enough to see this now, like, this would be the best time, the greatest opportunity to get in. So I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open, and that's going to wrap up today's market recap session.